In this problem, well, the credit union has asked us to write a program that allow people to guess or list as many of the different types of car models based on make. So the three domestic ones. So they want Dodge, Ford, and GM, and you can say, oh, well, isn't there more, and some of those are not domestic, blah blah blah. But let's just go with this, okay? Um, so this is what they want at the end. So we have to make a problem statement based upon this. So let's go ahead and open up Notepad and see how we can do it. All right. So we have to have three things. We have to have problem statement. I mean, this is the problem statement. Assumptions, input, and move this down. Calculations, and output. Now the problem is there are no calculations. Maybe a counter at the most, but those aren't really calculations. So this is really going to be a logic area. So our assumptions are pretty easy. Let me go ahead and move this. Excuse me, but I've already done some of this ahead of time to make it faster, and then I can't find it. All right, so there's our assumptions. There are no values. It's mentioned $500 for the award. That has nothing to do with our program. So there's three manufacturers that we're going to be looking at: Dodge, Ford, GM, one customer at a time, and the program stops when the customer no longer can think of any models. All right, then we have our output, and this is our output right here. These three things with all these extra ones, and it could have 15 underneath Dodge. So this is going to have to be a loop. But really, all we're looking to get out are these three groups of stuff. So those are all going to be accumulators. So we're just going to say that our output is going to be these three things. All right, we're going to have an accumulator that accumulates Dodge names, and then we're going to have an accumulator that does Ford names and accumulator that does GM names. So the next thing we're going to do is we can do calculations. Well, let's go ahead and do that. That's how we always do it. Work our way up. So our calculations are going to be these three things, although those are going to be accumulators. So we're going to say, in order to do the Dodge one, we're going to say, well, if car make equals Dodge, then we're going to be using the Dodge accum. But we can't do the accumulator yet. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to create a counter. And the reason for that is we want to know whether this is the first time in the loop or every other time in the loop. Okay, then after that, we're going to have a if statement. So we're going to see if this is the first time that they are going to give us a Dodge name. So if the Dodge equals 1, then the Dodge accumulator is going to be equal to this up here. So here's our header, would be the word Dodge. I can't see it from here, but it's Dodge. Then we have the counter. Then we have dot period space, and then we have the value that they're placing in, and that's going to be in our accumulator for the first time. So for the first time, we're going to say that the accumulator is equal to the word Dodge, maybe a colon, and then we're going to join that with the accumulator. well, the counter, I mean. So we're going to have Dodge count. So we're going to go ahead and copy and paste that. And then we're going to join that with some text, the dot space space. Okay, that's so we're going to have, you can't see it from here, so Dodge counter dot space space, and then we're going to join that with the car model. All right, so that's it. All right, and then what happens if it's not the first time? Well, then it's going to be also using the accumulator, and it's going to be very similar to this one, except we're going to make some changes. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste this. All right, so we're not going to use Dodge up here because we already have that in the first one. That doesn't look like it's spelled right. D-O-D-G-E. Okay, we're going to keep on doing it. That does not look right at all. Dodge. All right, so I'll have to check on that. So we're going to get rid of the word Dodge because we don't need it, but we're going to need some text. So this is what's going to separate each of the records, and I'm going to just use a semicolon for that as a delimiter. So it's going to be, and that's going to be joined with what is already in the accumulator. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this and paste it here. So if we follow this, person says Dodge, and let's say a person says the Dart. All right, so it comes down here. It's the first time they've come through, so it'll be Dodge joined with 1, joined with dot space, Dodge joined with Dart. All right, then it would go around the loop again. They say Dodge again, and the next one they say Camaro. So now it's the count is now 2, so we don't do there, we go here, and then the first one is Dodge 10 space Dart, and we're going to join that with a semicolon as a delimiter, then the number 2, then dot space, then Camaro. See how that works? All right, so that's it for Dodge. All right, so that's it. So the next thing we need is an else if. So next one we're gonna do is Ford. So we're gonna use an else if for that. Else if car make. Now there's a couple other things that we're missing. One is, well, car make. All right, so we're gonna have to get that from input, right? Person's gonna have to say they're looking for a Dodge, and then in here we're gonna have the 3 models that we use, and I have them listed up here somewhere. Here we go. So I'm just gonna go ahead and copy these. I guess Dodge is right. It doesn't look right. All right. So car make. I always put the if we have specific things that they're going to put in, I always list them in parentheses to keep track of that. The next is the car model, and that's what they're guessing. So they're going to put in whatever. And if they say for a Dodge, they say Mustang, well then that's going to be wrong as far as the people are concerned. All right. So now we have to come down here, and I'm going to go ahead and copy this, because everything is actually going to be the same except everything that says Dodge is going to say Ford now. So I'm going to go ahead and type the word Ford. So it'll be Ford count, and I'll copy that and then paste it. And it'll be Ford count, and it'll be Ford accum, and it'll be Ford count, and it'll be Ford count here, and Ford count, Ford accum here, and Ford accum here. So everything that said Dodge now is going to say Ford, and copying and pasting allows us to be very consistent. You see I'm missing this one, but I want to get the capital F. So I'll copy that and paste it here. All right, so there's no, there is a Dodge. Oh, look at that's the last one, so I'm going to go ahead and make a space here. All right, so Ford, 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 Ford. All right, so the only thing now, okay, I can get rid of this Ford accum. And I'm actually going to get rid of this GM accum because those were just placeholders. Because I'm going to go ahead now and copy this entire line, set of lines here, and then come down here and paste them in. And now this is going to be my GM. So let's see. I think I could type that without making a mistake. GM. Because we're cameling it, let's going to do small GM. That makes a lot more sense. And we'll copy that and then paste that all over. So paste it here. Uh-oh, there's a dodge. That's not right. How did we get that dodge in there? I copied all the forwards. Oh, there's dodge count right there. All right, so this, see, I found a mistake. Just by going through here, that dodge shouldn't have been down here. It should have said forward. And since it said dodge, I know there was an error. So it makes it a lot easier to find your errors when you're copying and pasting, as I'm doing here. And almost done. Come on. And the last one is right here, GM. All right, so see how simple that was? Once you have, and this is why we use the build and test methodology. So I'm not going to try to figure out the entire solution. The first thing I'm going to do is say, well, how do I figure out where I'm going to get dodge from? So very easy to do that by taking a look at what they want out, which is, let me bring this back up again so we can see it. So this is the output they want. They want car make, and then they want the different models with a 1, 2, 3. So if we come down here using Dodge as an example, the first thing we're going to do is say, well, if they want Dodge, let's see if it's the first one. If it's the first one, the first thing we're going to do is put, like up here, Dodge counter, dot space space, and then the model that they have input. Then they go around the next time, and now it's the counter is at 2, so we go down to here. We keep what we had first, which was the first record, and now we put this start and put the second one in. So here's where the first one is, and then we do a semicolon just for a delimiter, and then number 2, and then dot space space, and then Malibu, and then we come around again, and now it's 3, so it goes down here, and then it has the first 2 records, the 1 Corvette, 2 Malibu. Again, I know this is Dodge and that's GM, but I don't have the Dodge example. And then they would have those 2, then separated with a semicolon, and then the number 3, dot space space, and Impala. So that's how it builds. And once we build one, well, then we can build the rest of them because they're all going to be the same. And then we already have the output and then the input built itself. So this is it. All done. On to flowchart.